Thank you. Thank you very much for that. As if the digital disruption had not made the lives of HR leaders difficult, I think the pandemic has made it even more, complex and challenging. And I think never before HR leaders have been surrounded by this sort of complexity. But given that you asked the question, let me think about a few points. I mean, the first thing I would think about is, can you navigate change? I mean, if you spoke to anybody, maybe February of this year, nobody would have thought about, work from home policies or the challenges that the HR heads have been facing, because you actually are integrating between people and strategy execution, right? So can you navigate really uncertain situation? Do you have it in you to do that? The second thing I was thinking about was more about, can you be the change agent? A lot of people don't think that to be very important, but in my view, that's incredibly important to be this change agent game that you have to play. And the third point I wanted to make was, can you set a vision and direction? And I'll just give you a quick example. So we are now merging with, TAPMI is now merging with MAHE, which is the Manipal Academy of Higher Education. So we are an autonomous business school, but we're merging as part of the university. It's a huge change going on. And you can imagine all of the HR, conversations that happen. And I remember very, very clearly the conversations I've had with the group president HR, Nishit Mohanty. Many of you may know Nishit very well. And the amazing way in which we actually work together to make this entire merger process to be a very, very, very seamless process. When two organizations are merging, there are lots and lots of problems that can happen. So my point that I'm trying to make to you, Shilpa, and others is that, can you be an influencer? Are you able to go and have this conversation, say, hey, we are doing this. Don't worry, these are possibilities, problems that are likely to happen. But here are some things that we are going to do from an HR perspective to make sure this is going to work for everybody. People may worry about jobs. People may worry about, oh gosh, what will happen to the age, whether I'll change from 60 to 65 or whatever else it is. What happens to I was getting a different incentive now, will that change? Number of things people start to question. So the way Nishit and the HR team handled it was absolutely superb. And they came here, we had many conversations, meetings. So this is a real example of when you have to be an influencer. So if you do not have this capability of being an influencer, maybe you want to use a persuader, I think you'll have a great difficulty in having this. The final point I wanted to make was, curiosity. I'm not sure how, to me it's very important because I keep asking, what if this happens? What if this doesn't happen? So I think one of the key capabilities is perhaps asking this what if question, I think will really help. So people would have thought about COVID and immediately we announced a work from home policy. Now, multiple complexities have happened. Some organizations have gone on for long periods of time. Some organizations have said, no, everybody has to come back to work. And HR has been at the forefront dealing with these sorts of complex situations. So if I very quickly give you a summary of points, I want to think about building skills and competencies, which is a great capability that somebody needs to have. I would like, people to HR leadership to have curiosity. To me, the most important, and I personally felt this in the last 8 months or 1 year during the merger process, Shilpa, and that is being an influencer. And I've seen how beautifully the HR leadership has worked with us at TAPMI and making sure that all concerns were addressed a number of times. The conversations happened in English. It happened in Kannada because many of the staff members, we wanted to have a conversation in local language. So, all of those things were done so amazingly that people said, okay, now I'm sure I'm not going to lose my job. Okay, my benefits are protected. These things are happening. So this sort of leadership that I could see is something that I think is a game changer. And most importantly, I would think a clear vision and direction. So if you want the HR from a seat at the table to the seat in the main seat, if you like, I think that direction and vision is absolutely critical. I mean, I hope I was able to give you some insights, but I want to thank you, of course, for the question. And many of the panelists who joined in earlier would have also heard some very interesting comments that other panelists had actually made. So I hope this was useful.